Hey GlamFam, Linwood here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to do soft locks like this with a lighter color of hair so you can easily see what's going on. And I'm going to show you a few different variations, some standard variations, some variations for longer hair, and some variations that are less tension at the scalp for those that are more concerned about scalp health as well. So I'm not going to waste any time, I'm going to get right into it. We're first going to start off by parting off a section to braid. So as you can see, I already had a row done. That's really important when I'm doing videos like this because I want to be able to show you why it is so important to bricklay our section. Anytime that we are doing any type of braids, locks, twists, I'm a huge proponent for bricklaying. The reason why I do that is because if we are laying our sections on top of each other like this, the braids can look really spacey. Whereas if we take them and bricklay them, meaning that we put the next set slightly in between, it instantly increases the look of fullness without making the hair really bulky in between. All right, so what we'll want to do is we'll want to look at where our previous sections were in through here. And instead of just following those part lines, I actually want to part out sections based off of where those previous part lines were. So we'll basically part straight up from here, straight up from there. And that way we have our sections done. And then basically by us doing that, it allows our sections to fall perfectly in between our previous locks or twists or braids that we are doing before, and it creates more of a look of fullness. And we're just gonna clip the rest of this hair up and out of the way. So now that I've got you prepped there, I wanna go ahead and discuss with you the types of hair that I'm gonna be using in this video. For the soft lock portion, we're going to be using just some FreeTress hair here. This is the Bonaloc hair. It's a bit longer than I cared to do for this tutorial, but you can do it at pretty much whatever length you'd like to do it. I am using a lighter color just because it's easier for you to differentiate between the natural hair and the added hair that we're putting in here, and that way you can more easily see what's going on and you can envision it in a head of hair you're working on or in your own hair as well. Now for wrapping hair, I'm going to be using some of the Xpression hair here. This is some of the best twisting hair I've ever used. I rather enjoy it. It is quite nice. I absolutely love it. It's a springy Afro twist hair. Okay, so for a standard version of this, I'm going to go through and I want to make sure that we're doing this in a way that is low tension and no matter what, that it's not a ton of tension on there. So instead of braiding and then going in and attaching hair, I'm going to go through first. We're going to section out a portion of hair. Just like that. I'm gonna grab one of my faux locks. We'll take that faux lock and we're just gonna place our hook right through that faux lock. Then from there, I'm gonna grab just a piece of that hair that's there. I'm going to pull through. So close that up, pull the hair through that section. And then from there, I'm going to take my 3 pieces as I would normally. And I'm just going to braid this hair. So taking this, sliding that down to the scalp, and we're going to begin braiding. Now this allows me to have it up close to the scalp without having to worry about putting that braid in and then having additional tension here. So we'll go ahead and braid that down some, and just to save on some additional work and tension, I'm just going to go ahead and twist on the bottom. Okay, so from there, this is what I have. Now once I have done that, I can then take a section of my twisting hair. What I'm gonna do with this hair is I'm gonna stretch it out a bit. So move this back some. I'm gonna take this hair and I'm gonna grab both ends and just lightly stretch so that way we can kind of get a little bit more length out of it, because I'm going to do this in a standard method for somewhat shorter hair, but that way I can show you how to easily wrap this. From there, we're just gonna grab by the end and I'm gonna pick up my latch hook again. Once I have that, I'm going to go through at the base. Okay, just like this here. You can see my hook there. We're going to take our hair, place it right on in here, and pull that hair through. Just like so. Now, usually if you're working with a color that's similar to yours, you don't have to wrap it as closely or as tightly as I'm gonna have to do here to cover that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this excess hair here that I have here, and I'm just gonna lay that over the top of this darker hair just to kind of help mask it some. And then from there I'm going to begin to wrap this, bring it around. I'll grip from the underside, pull on over, grip from the underside, pull on over, and we'll just continue that process all the way down until we are past the natural hair. Okay. Okay, and then the fact that I feathered that out some means that we have just a very thin section here. So as I'm wrapping that down, it will begin to just thin out and taper out, and I don't have to worry about burning. For those who are wondering what we'll do with this hair after it's twisted and it's been up for a while and you're trying to get it back down, you're just gonna take it and twist back in the opposite direction of how it was twisted. It'll loosen up enough some here to where you can slide a pair of shears right up underneath one of those loops, and then you just unravel from there. So nothing too complex there. Now this is a standard method. I'm going to show you again a method that's better for longer hair. So the first portions of it are going to be pretty much the same. That being said, I'll probably cut past that so I'm not wasting your time. Okay, so let's say for instance the person that you're working on had slightly longer hair and you did not want to wrap it down quite as far as we did on the last one. Y'all can see I missed the gap there. That's why it's important to just pick a color that's close to your hair. We would go ahead and we're going to take our latch hook again, coming through here. We're just going to go ahead and come through at that scalp area. We would hook the tip of that braid through here, and then from there we would just kind of pull that down and around like this. That will allow us to shorten the length there some. Once we've done that, I can go ahead and take one of the bundles out of that hair, and I'm just going to pinch off like maybe a third or so. And they're still stretching the hair out just like I did last time. So just taking that hair on both ends and stretching slightly. And we'll go ahead and hook through at the base again. We'll just latch that hair right on in there. Close and pull through. Okay, once I have that, I'm going to go ahead and grip all of that hair together. And we're just going to begin to wrap like normal. So I'm going to wrap around a little tighter that first couple times around. This is just going to help to prevent any slipping. Now the nice thing is with this method here, if the hair is longer, I can still use a shorter lock, or I don't have to wrap quite as long or quite as far, or worry about the hair being hidden inside the lock. But the other nice thing about it is you have a little bit more flexibility a little higher up, because you can kind of tell where the hair stops inside the locks based off of the level of flexibility in there. See the difference? Like where the flexibility starts is usually where you end up having some difference in there. So like, see how far out the flexibility is on that one? So if I go ahead and stop it up higher, I don't have to wrap it quite as far down, which means there's more flexibility to the lock in general. Now the negative thing is you may have a little bit more bulk in there because of the fact that we had to fold that hair up inside. We've already passed the hair, so I'm just going to take the ends of this as well and continue on down. And you'll just continue passing that right on around there. And don't worry, when you first start out, yeah, you are still a little slower with it, but you get to where you can kind of pick up speed. But that way you can kind of see we've got a lot more softness, a lot higher up on that one versus this one here. It's stiff, heading down to about here where I stopped wrapping. So if you're looking for more movement and flexibility in there from day one, folding your hair in there to make it shorter is going to help out a bit more, because the longer and the more I have to wrap down, the more stiff that whole lock is going to be until it loosens up just from wear and shampoo. So we've had our standard method, our method for longer hair, and now I'm going to show you a low tension method, and then we'll be done. So stick around for me. This low tension method is a bit more like this here, which is nice for those that want to have more of a twisted look at the scalp, so it can look like it's natural and be able to immediately pull it up with no tension, no worries of hair loss or anything at all. And the solution is honestly quite simple. So for this method, I'm going to go ahead and part out another section, just like we did before, pinning everything else up and out of the way. Once I have done so, I'm going to take my latch hook through here, just like I've been doing, and add our lock on. Then from there, I'm going to pinch off some of this hair. We're going to place the natural hair on there, and we're just going to pull that right on. So far, it's pretty much the same. Here's where it differs. Instead of us doing this in a braid, I'm going to take this and we're going to do this in a 2-strand twist. So by doing it in a 2-strand twist, which by the way, if you don't know how to 2-strand twist, I do have tutorials for that on this channel as well. But by doing this in a 2-strand twist, it allows for it to be much looser at the base of the scalp, which means a lot less tension in there because the twists don't stay as tight. But the fact that we're wrapping it means you don't have to worry about that sliding out and all that. So if I needed to combine this with the longer hair method, I can still do it with 2-strand twists and be able to pull through there. But it gives me the ability to have a lot more movement immediately because I've got a little bit more give at the scalp. From there, literally everything else about it is essentially the same. So I'm able to take my section. We're going to pull through here at the base. I'm coming the opposite way of how we attach that here. Hooking on, pull it through, just like so. I'm just going to try to lay that over it some to kind of help give me a little extra hide. Again, if you're working with a color that's closer to yours, you don't have to worry about this quite as much. Starting off a little bit more snug. And the thing that I love about the twist method as well is it's going to give you a much thinner base because the hair is not so bulky with the twist as it can be with the braids. And then from there, we just wrap around like normal. Now, I especially love this method, especially because, let's be real, no one is trying to end up with traction alopecia or any form of baldness, honestly, if they don't have to. And it's something where if we can just take a little extra time to ensure that we are treating the hair as healthfully as possible and limiting tension, we can ensure that not only can you have styles like this, but that they're not just protective in name, they're also protective in nature. So that way we're able to condition the hair really well. We're able to ensure that there are no split ends, things like that before it goes up into that style. And then we're also able to ensure that we're not snatching the hair out at the base of the scalp because there's some give now to where it can freely spin with no issues of tension. It's not tight at all. Whereas a lot of times with the braided ones, they just tend to be a little bit stiffer at the scalp. So the two that I have twisted is this one here and this one here. And I'll get it a little bit closer so that way you can kind of see the difference in tension. Like you can see how this one sits out a bit more. These have a lot more movement at the scalp. Now mind you, this is with no product. If you would like to use a braiding gel or something, you can. But I'm more interested in teaching you technique than I am teaching you a bunch of different products that you may or may not want or even need. I hope that this has helped out. If so, let me know in the comment section down below. I'll also have products that I use in the comments and the description box down below as well. Until next time, take care, God bless, and stay glam. You know I love you, boo. Bye.